Friends, there are hard days ahead. I flew to your country the day after attending the funeral of a young Australian who served in Afghanistan. Sapper Jamie Larkham was from my home state of South Australia, from a small community with the most perfectly Australian name, Kangaroo Island. Jamie's life's ambition was to serve his country. He was a long way from Kangaroo Island when he made the ultimate sacrifice. We will remember. I know very many young Americans have served their country and lost their lives in Afghanistan too. As a friend, we share your grief. As an ally, we share your resolve. Afghanistan must never again be a safe haven for terrorism. Just as our security alliance is one for war and peace, our economic partnership is one for hardship and prosperity. In hard days, we work together. Our societies share a deep understanding of the importance of work. We believe life is given purpose and direction by work. Without work, there is corrosive aimlessness. With the loss of work comes the loss of dignity. That's why in each of our countries, the great goal of all we do in the economy is the same. That great goal is to ensure that everyone who can work does work. In turn, this is why each of our countries took early and strong action in the face of the greatest threat to the world's economy since the Great Depression. And we did not just act locally or individually. We worked together when hardship came. It was difficult, but we did it together. New global realities and the emerging economic weight of countries like China, India and Brazil meant the vital forum for the global response was the leaders of the G20 nations. My predecessor, Kevin Rudd, worked hard to ensure this was so. The world needed a global response to the economic crisis, and global leadership was vital. Together, the G20 coordinated $5 trillion in fiscal stimulus for the global economy. While there has been very real pain, the global response averted true economic disaster. Economic stimulus has been crucial to limit the worst effects of the downturn. Economic reform is crucial now to deliver the best hopes for a strong recovery. Like you, I'm a leader in a democracy. I know reform is never easy, but I know reform is right. The general economic outlook remains fragile and uncertain. Global economic balances persist, and we must address them or risk future instability. Your leadership in the G20 is still needed to ensure we make the reforms which will keep the global economy on the path to strong, sustained and balanced growth. And that is the path to growth in America as well. We worked hard with you during the global economic crisis to resist protectionist pressures. This only built on our decades working together to promote free trade in the world. I know many of you worked hard to achieve the Australia-US Free Trade Agreement. Can I say to each of you today, thank you. Our free trade agreement shows the benefits of free trade, and we aim for even larger benefits from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is a great economic opportunity for our two countries and 7 of our regional partners. And we have other opportunities to promote trade and jobs as well. I'm looking forward to your country hosting the APEC leaders meeting later this year. We will work closely together there. Australia is also working for an ambitious and balanced conclusion of the WTO Doha round as soon as possible. And we look forward to your Congress passing a 2012 Farm Bill that advances free trade rather than distorting it, and through free trade creates jobs. We know the equation is simple. Trade equals jobs, a very simple equation. Our societies share a deep understanding of the importance of work, and our societies share a deep commitment to the value of education. We understand education's transformative power. We know education is the future for every child who learns. We also know education is the future for our economies. Our future growth relies on competitiveness and innovation, skills and productivity, and these in turn rely on the education of our people. Australia and America are partners in a globalised world where open societies flourish and competitive economies thrive. That's why I went to a school in Wakefield, Virginia, with President Obama this week. The President and I not only saw children learning, we saw the future of your people and the future of your prosperity as well. Australians are deeply grateful to your greatest generation for their mighty deeds. This week, I've seen a new generation of Americans. I genuinely believe they can be greater still. Achieving prosperity while sharing its benefits requires far-sighted educational reforms. In the same way, achieving growth while caring for our climate requires far-sighted economic reforms. Breaking the link between economic growth and emissions growth is a difficult challenge for our economies, and we can only achieve it by working together. Our cooperation in key international forums and in research and development is making an important contribution. We must work together to achieve an historic transition to high technology, high skill, clean energy economies. Shared values are the basis of our security alliance, and shared values are the basis of our economic partnership as well. Through hard work and education, we can deliver a strong economy and opportunity for all. Americans are great optimists, and Australians will always have a go. So conceived in the Pacific War and born in the Cold War, adapted to the space age and invoked in the face of terror, our indispensable alliance is a friendship for the future. It is this year the 60th anniversary of the signing of our treaty. It is because of that I have the opportunity to speak to you today. For that, I'm grateful. As I said to President Obama, it is an alliance 60 years young, with so much future to share. And this is a timely opportunity, not so much for reflection on the past as the discussion of our future. The bipolar world in which our alliance was signed has long since disappeared. I'm not sad about its passing. Hundreds of millions of people have a better life today. Democracy and human dignity have spread wide in the world in the last 20 years. We've seen this from Eastern Europe to East Asia in recent years, and we are seeing the hope of it in the Middle East right now. We understand that nothing is certain. There is still much for the people of the Middle East to do, and the governments of the world will be called on to help them do it. Yet I believe what we are seeing is unchanging realities of human nature finding a new expression in a new way. For Australia's part, we will do what we can and work with you to support orderly transitions to democracy, to foster human rights and religious freedom within the countries of the Middle East, and to secure a lasting peace between them, a peace where no nation threatens another, which is why we join you in condemning Iran's nuclear program. And we also strive for peace, a peace where Israel is secure and where Palestinians have a state of their own, which is why we join you in calling on all parties to negotiate in good faith. Our alliance was signed 60 years ago in the Cold War, and it lives in a new world today. And momentous as the changes in the Middle East are, I believe it is in the Asia-Pacific where the global order is changing the most. We admire India's example as a true democracy. We never forget Indonesia's transition to create the world's third largest democracy in the world's largest Islamic country. And we applaud China's lifting some 500 million people out of poverty. The centre of global strategic and economic weight is shifting to this region. The rise of the Asia-Pacific will define our times. Like you, our relationship with China is important and complex. We encourage China to